what's up, everybody? Welcome to Talk Amongst Yourselves. My name is Tanaka Mundu, and yeah, let's talk about some sports. So, today we're talking exclusively what's happening in the boxing spaces. I think there's a lot of excitement at this moment. In just a bit, we'll be talking to Rowan Campbell, who fought Ryno Liebenberg this past weekend. Unfortunately for him, in defeat. It was one of those fights, you know, the boxer v. the brawler. You know, and ultimately in this fight, the brawler came good. So a big shout out to Rowan for coming on. I mean, it didn't end well for him, the fight. He looked quite beaten, quite beaten up, but he's going to be on and talking to us, and I'm looking forward to that. In other news as well, maybe before we get to Rowan, some honorable mentions. I spoke to Nomeva The Champ this morning, actually. He's fighting this weekend. Remember, we spoke about him here on the show last time. He got knocked out by Prince Ndlovu and was talking about this could be it for his career. Well, no, he's back. Gone back to his former trainer, TLB Promotions. Heki Butler will be fighting this past weekend as well. I sent him a message and I said, hey, Nomeva, I put those hands, catch those hands that go upwards. Just wanted to wish you all the best for your fight this weekend. Okay? I'm glad you're getting back in the ring. And he sent back, I thank you, brother, and those hands. And yeah, a couple voice notes. He's going to send the stream, so I'll definitely put the stream out on my social because it's going to be streamed, this fight, and not necessarily on Supersport and or SABC. Maybe he said the week after the fight is when they're going to air it, so a late live or something along those lines. But looking forward to it. He's one of the best South Africa has to offer, so really excited about his return. He did predict a fourth round knockout. I said to him in a voice note, yo, I think you're going to knock him out in the fourth. And he said, I completely agree with you. I'm going to knock him out in the fourth. So let's see if we're right come the weekend. And then last honorable mention, because this is a big one, Tyson Fury up against Anthony Joshua. 2-fight agreement has finally been agreed. It's a 50-50 split. So for the first fight, and then 60-40 for the winner of the first fight into the second fight. But finally, the unification fight that we've been looking forward to is here since Lennox Lewis, and then he's only 3 belts at that time. So really looking forward to this one. I really do kind of lean towards Tyson Fury because I think he's proven himself really capable, but Anthony Joshua is no slouch either. So probably one of the biggest heavyweight boxing fights in recent years gone by. I can't actually think in this era of a bigger fight to be made. It should have been Deontay Wilder, but that's what time does. If you take too long with these things, there you go. So yeah, that's some of the stuff that's happening in boxing. But yeah, let's talk to Rowan Campbell now. Joining me on the show today, Talk Amongst Yourselves, is none other than Rowan Campbell. Straight after his defeat this past weekend to Ryno Liebenberg, he's been so kind as to come on here and share his thoughts on the fight. And I suppose where to from here? That's the big question on everybody's mind for Rowan. This is a fight where maybe a lot of people didn't expect him to lose, but I guess champions are forged in the fire. That's consensus in terms of boxing and some of the great fighters in which we have. Rowan, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate your time. Fantastic. So let's talk about it. I mean, Rowan, first and foremost, you're one of those fighters who I think has brought the excitement back into boxing in South Africa. You were riding on a 12-0 unbeaten streak, and then this fight happened. It's coming off the back of a year of inactivity for you. And you were notoriously a very active fighter. I mean, it was after your debut, 2017, 4 fights, 2018, 3 fights, 2019, 4 fights, and then absolutely nothing throughout 2020. Talk about the preparation for this fight. It's a fight that was for so long in the making. Give me your thoughts.
The preparation was very on-off because I had actually signed the contract twice prior to this fight taking place. So I trained so hard, then it got cancelled due to COVID reasons and stuff like that. Then I just chilled and stuff like that. Then it was on again. I got very excited. Then it was off again, very disappointed. So the training was very up and down and stuff like that. Then the inactivity, it didn't really faze me until I stepped into the ring. When I stepped into the ring, I was like, whoa, I actually forgot how this feels a little bit. But like the whole build-up and stuff like that doesn't really faze me. But when you're in there and you need to gather your own thoughts and stay calm, stay cool, stay collected, and I was getting head-butted a bit. I didn't quite gather my thoughts as well as I would have liked to. So that was a very interesting one for me. The nerves and not being in that ring for a while did hit me a bit.
Yeah, you've spoken very openly about how you feel and your nerves going into big fights. You've always been heart first, if I could put it that way. You know, you've never hid away from the emotions of a big fight. It was kind of obvious that there was something getting at you when he threw a couple of jabs and you were going for the legs, and then eventually your doctor point for holding. But in that moment, just tell me what's in your head. What are you thinking? It's a fight after a very long time. You get hit the first time. Were you firstly surprised by the power that he had?
Nah, his power actually wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. You know, I think he speaks a better game than he hits, actually. The headbutts caught me off guard because I was trying to grab him. I was like, what the hell is hitting me? And that's why I was trying to grab him, because while I'm trying to grab him, I'm trying to process what the freaking hell's hitting me. I saw his hands. What hit me there? What hit me there? So I just tried to grab him and just be like, what is hitting me, you know? But going to your emotions, sports is emotions. People who try and lie to you about that, it's not going to go their way. But sports is emotion. I'm very cool, calm, and collected. I like to fight. I want to fight. And yeah, that's boxing for you.
That ultimately is boxing at the end of the day. Let's maybe take it back to the contracts. You know, they talk risk and reward in boxing. This is almost a sport that rewards people for not taking the big fights when they should have. Ryno Liebenberg was a very dangerous opponent for you. You knew that, but he was on his way out. Some people would say, why take that fight at all? Why risk your streak in a sport that favors unbeaten fighters and young fighters as well? Why risk all of that and fight a guy who, after fighting you, had even kind of suggested that may be his last fight? So I thought that probably deads a rematch idea and all that kind of talk. What was it for you that interested you about fighting Ryno? And ultimately, after the fact, do you still feel like it was a decision to have made?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I wish I prepared myself a little bit better, just mentally. I knew it was going to be rough and tough, but it really bugged me that I never took in like fighting dirty into consideration, like headbutts and stuff. That really bugs me. I'm like, why the hell didn't I take that into consideration? So in that first round, I wanted to hold him because I knew he was going to come hard that first round. I knew it. And no, I do not regret taking that fight. Not at all. I'm happy with my coach and stuff. I've been reading some things that they say they should have stopped it due to the cuts. Thank you for not stopping it. And I think South African boxing in particular needs to see these fights. Like two people which they really, really want to see fight. We should fight and not prevent and hide it anymore. And if you said something about a rematch, if people want to see the rematch, then I'll be down for it as well.
Yeah, this was definitely one of those fights. I mean, like we said, a year, probably a little bit more in the making. It was one of these fights that everybody was licking their fingers to see. We saw it. It was in defeat, unfortunately for you. But I guess my question then is, with regards to the fight as a whole, we talk about your no more. You were undefeated fighter going into this. As I said earlier, this is a sport that favors the guy who doesn't lose or hasn't lost. It favors the streak. Floyd Mayweather, case in point, one of those guys who never lost, and he's probably one of the greatest of all time. How much of a thought, or how much does that play in your mind, that idea of being undefeated, taking that gamble every time you go into the ring? Is it an added pressure? And now that it's gone, are you, I suppose, better off for it?
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather definitely changed the game. That nobody wants to lose, and everybody wants to have that 0 on their record. Don't let people tell you otherwise. But Floyd Mayweather definitely made me, in particular, want to keep my winning streak. But then the day, it doesn't matter too much. One loss. This is a sport, as you can see. You don't want to be taking too many losses. So I'm okay with one loss, but I don't want any more. I don't want this feeling again. And one more thing, his age, 37 isn't too old. You know, that's what I call bully strength. You know, he's still got his bully strength. If he was like over 40 and stuff, maybe not even then. When it comes to fighting, adrenaline, nerves and stuff, take you back at least a good few years. You just want to win and you go for it. You know, if you want to defend something which you really care about, age is not going to matter to you. You know, so fighting the training camps might be a problem longevity wise, on your body when the older you get. But actual fight means stuff all in your age. Floyd Mayweather's busy fighting now, and he's, what's he, 50 plus?
Yeah.
What's Tyson and then 40 plus? Sorry, Tyson's 50 or 52, and Roy Jones was 50. Um, then there's a bit of a difference. Then your body can't move like it can.
Yeah.
But yeah, going to your question, the loss doesn't affect me too much, but I don't want to lose again.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about the fights and talk strategy going into the fight. I think it was kind of a consensus in the boxing fraternities and those who've watched you fight that you may have surrendered the earlier rounds to Ryno because he is quite a quick starter, but you would kind of come on as the fight wore on. Round 2, the knockdown, saved by the bell. Round 3, you come back and you're fighting a lot better. You probably threw the more punches. Was that the idea, that in the later rounds, that's when you would really kind of start to come on against him?
Not necessarily. I knew round 1 he was going to start a lot harder than me. Yeah, I was a little bit. I should have prepared a bit more, but round 3 was how I would have liked to have fought the fight continuously. Round 1 you got to kind of find your feet, especially with a more experienced fighter. So that's round 1's always in a disadvantage to the unexperienced fighter because the more experienced fighter's been there 100 more times, right? So yeah, I knew round 1 was against me, but round 2 and stuff, yeah, shouldn't have even dropped me. It just hit me in one of those weird spots,
Yeah.
Wasn't even too hard. It just, I can't explain it.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, there were these punches that he was throwing, and I'm curious how you. It didn't seem like you were able to deal with them. These kind of looping overhand lefts and rights that were kind of catching you quite a few times throughout the 8 rounds. What surprised you about Ryno's game? You talk about preparation or how you failed to prepare adequately for this fight. Maybe take us through that, and also some of the surprises. I mean, you were hit quite a few times, yeah.
Yeah. I should have just prepared a little bit more, to be honest with you, mentally visualized. I focused on too many small things. I should have focused on everything, So it's just one or two small things here and there. Coming to Ryno itself, nothing really bugged me but those headbutts. Because of those headbutts, it made me feel like you're throwing 50 more punches, and I was trying to work out what the hell's hitting me. And then while I'm thinking like that, what the hell's hitting me, and trying to watch him to see what's hitting me, then I would get hits, so I was overthinking and stuff. So yeah, he did. I take my hat off to him. It was a great life and learning curve. That's all I can really say. I won't dwell too much on would have, should have, could have, because trust me, we could be there for hours.
Did he feel bigger in there? I mean, he's fought at light heavy for most of his career. I know you've had a stint there yourself, and it was a board decision, kind of a management decision, to take you down to super middleweight. Did he feel bigger in that fight? Yeah.
No, he never felt bigger, but he was a very interesting fighter. He was a come forward, aggressive fighter. He was a fighter that gave it his all or nothing at all, which was very interesting. Some fighters will give it their all, take it off a little bit, give it their all, take it off a little bit. He gave it his all the whole time. Even if you look at the pictures, you see his face. He just wanted to.
Yeah.
That was very interesting. But how I could cope, I could take him.
Yeah. Well, they call you Braveheart. Yeah, they call you Braveheart, Rowan, and I think you proved absolutely in that match why that moniker isn't lost on you, and it absolutely is true, because you were valiant in all your efforts. There were times when I thought you weren't going to get up off the stool, or times when I thought maybe it should have been called a little bit earlier. I guess my question then is Deep Waters, right? I think he took you there. I can't recall a fight of yours that I've watched in the 12 fights that you had prior where you were in that type of a way, in that type of a shape, going into round 8, into round 7. What are your thoughts coming off the stool? It was quite silent. For those watching at home, it was quite silent. There wasn't too much conversation between you and Peter Smith. It was quite quiet in your corner. What are some of your thoughts as you're getting back up to kind of fight again and rally again?
That's I was concerned about the cuts, because there was a lot of blood and I couldn't see too well as well. I think from like round 2, even round 1, just before I sat down, I saw the blood dripping off my head, you know. Then around 2, I could see it a lot. So I was concerned about these cuts. And then I'm trying to observe people and see how everyone's looking at me and stuff. And the doctor was the referee was looking at me very interesting. Peter had those swabs and stuff, had to dip them. So yeah, I think those cuts bothered me, that even the fact if he was talking, I was so concerned about how these cuts looking, what's wrong with these cuts.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at me funny, you know. So yeah, it was a life lesson. It was a life lesson.
Yeah. I mean, you've been there now, and I guess it's after the loss that you kind of have time to reflect. And maybe before we get into your reflections and what you've kind of learned about yourself after the fact, the stoppage, you say you're happy that it wasn't stopped by your corner, it was stopped by the referee. Are you fine with the referee stopping it around 8? You didn't seem to have too much protest in the ring.
Well, do you know what happens when you're in there? They keep on stopping. They keep on looking at you.
Yeah.
I think 3 times Peter asked me, "Hey, bro, do you want to carry on?" So when they stopped it, I was like, I just really want to see what these cuts look like, because everyone looked pretty concerned about me,
Yeah.
you know. But at the end of the day, I got quite a few stitches. You don't get cut 4 times just by boxing. When does that happen?
Yeah.
He headbutts really well. I give him credit there too. His headbutts were immaculate. He even taught me how to headbutt there. But yeah, I was just concerned on seeing how these cuts look and stuff. Like when you have like people, like you're fighting, people like looking into your eyes like this, looking at you like that. You know, you can't help but wonder a few things. You know, your brain just takes over. You know. Yeah. I kind of wish I could have gone a few more rounds.
You were ready to keep going? Could have gone to the 12th possibly? Yeah. Tell us a bit about the aftermath of the fight. Firstly, you can tell us how you're recovering and what you've heard from the doctor, but also I want to know your personal thoughts with regards to how the fight went down on the day and where to from here.
Yeah, the doctor said I have to keep this weird strapping on while I got stitches. I got quite a few stitches. I was cut inside of cuts, so he had to stitch inside a deep cut and then stitch the proper cut, you know. So I got a good few stitches. He just said I'm gonna swell up a little bit. He said especially this side, because of this one cut here was the biggest cut. And he says the eye affects a lot of the face. So he says by Friday it should all go down. Otherwise I've been eating sweets and playing games and stuff like that. What I think about the actual performance, it wasn't me. You know, that's the only thing I can say. I don't want to dwell on the loss and stuff like that. Too many people do that. You know, you can't go back in time. If I could go back in time, I'll change a good few things. But I just wasn't me. I know me, and I wasn't me in there. I was too busy thinking about him. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do next? You know, instead of just calming down and thinking, what am I gonna do next? What am I gonna do for this next situation, next problem? How am I gonna resolve this? You know, so I think that's the part where I'm angry at myself the most, was I never thought as coolly and as collectively as I usually do. Where to from here? It looks like hopefully I can fight again in June. That would make my day if I am, you know, because unfortunately boxing is quite a cruel sport in the sense that as soon as you lose, the promoters and stuff don't really want to use you and stuff like that. But I hope I can be fighting in June again. If you called me next week, I'll be looking sweet. I heal really fast there, and I'm not even sore. Like I can hit this all, you know. I'm not even sore at all, really. You know, the next day I had a baby headache, but I'm sweet. I just, it's a bitter pill to swallow. You know, the first 2 days aren't too bad because you get like a lot of encouraging messages, especially from those who love you. But then, like today and onwards, that's actually when it hits you. It's like, whoa, you know, because you got no one lifting you up and stuff like that, and yeah, it's like you're in a dark room, kind of, you know. It's boring. Your mind just plays tricks on you. So it's a bit of pill to swallow, and it's a very interesting pill to swallow. In going back to your Mayweather thing, I think Mayweather tasting defeat can do wonders as well. I have a feeling it's going to push me like a mofo.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I really have to say. Eh?
Yeah, no, listen, you're a true champion, Rowan. I think we still expect so much from you as those who have watched you come up and those who are so excited about what the future holds for you. I mean, you lost. It's unfortunate, but we do expect you to be back, and hopefully June. Are you still sticking same division? Are you sticking with super middle? Are you any thoughts of going up?
Nah, I'll never. I'll stay stupid middle for a good while.
Yeah,
It's too
yeah.
competitive. There's a lot of fighters.
It is, yeah.
You want competitiveness in the weight divisions.
Yeah.
As soon as there's no competitors and stuff, so boxing becomes boring again.
Yeah.
Future plans. I'm not even thinking about boxing now. Peter even advised me, take 2 weeks, have fun, jawl a bit. I don't feel like jawling, but I'll see one or two friends. If Ryno doesn't come right with the fights, I know he's got his own plans and stuff. Maybe at the end of the year we could talk about a rematch if he would like that. But I'm not too stressed about boxing right now. I'm taking 2 weeks and just thinking about me. I have amazing girlfriend. I have amazing people. This also shows you the people that really love you. I'm kind of blessed in that sense that the phone's been going crazy, and a lot of people say when you lose, you'll see how lonely you are. And I must say I'm very, very blessed.
Yeah. We're glad to hear that. I'll leave it here for you. Ryno doesn't get another fight. Let's assume the rematch is there for you. How desperate are you to right that wrong? And also, do you believe that you have the knockout power, the ring acumen that you didn't have in the previous fight to beat him? Yeah.
I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think he would want to rematch me.
Yeah.
And I think that will say it all. I never really landed. I wasn't me. I never really did much, and I think a part of him knows that, because afterwards he came and he spoke to me and he said, yes, your right hands were really impressive. You should have let your right hands go more. And I was thinking in my head, I never really connected you once.
Yeah.
But then he made me laugh because he goes straight to the camera and says, Rowan Garnett. He was just talking to me. So I had a little chuckle about that. But to be honest with you, I never really cracked him. So there was maybe one body shot where I was like, I got you a little bit, Other than that, I think between you and I don't think he would want to rematch me. I think it was just you can understand two fighters when you're in that ring. And I think he knows as well, because he's very, I would be very prepared the next time, I don't think he can change his game much. He's old now. What can he change? I think he wouldn't want the rematch more than me, He would avoid that. I have a feeling.
Yeah, well, I guess time will tell. Listen, Rowan, I really do appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming on and speaking so candidly. And, a lot of people would have hid after that loss. And you're here showing us your face and all the scars that go with it. And we're grateful for that. And wish you all the best going forward. Yeah.
Thanks, Tendaka. Much appreciated. And good luck with your channel and your future, bro.
Thank you.
Speak soon.
Appreciate that. Speak soon.
Sweet, buddy. Thank you.
All right. So big shout out to Rowan Campbell for coming on. Honestly, it was a fantastic conversation. And yeah, that's the sport. You win some and you lose some, but ultimately it's about how you bounce back. So do me a favor, get in the comment section, talk amongst yourselves, and let me know. And you can also go over to mynaturemedia.com if you want more of talk amongst yourselves and other stuff that myself and Cash exclusively is busy with. That is mynaturemedia.com. Thanks for listening. Cheers.